Welcome, fellow truth seekers, to our cosmic corner of the internet. Today we are honored to bring you a profound and transformative experience with the renowned Andromedan contactee, Alex Collier. But before diving into cosmic wisdom, we kindly ask you to lend your support. Please take a moment to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the bell icon for notifications. By doing so, you help us amplify Alex Collier's knowledge and reach a wider audience. Together, let's ignite the awakening of consciousness around the world. This video contains the entire 60-minute webinar number 37. Alex delves into several enlightening topics in this webinar, including global weather phenomena, highlighting Earth's magnetic field changes, the solar system's movement into a massive plasma belt, and increased solar winds. It emphasizes maintaining a positive mindset amidst these changes. Alex also discusses the effects on humanity, the influence of the central sun of Sagittarius A, frequency changes benefiting DNA repair and consciousness, and plasma's ability to move through matter that impacts life, and much more. Alex also answers questions from the audience at the end of his monologue.
Hi, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. Anyway, because of technical difficulties, we're late, and we apologize for that. Listen, we're just going to jump right into this, and we have a lot of things to cover. If you're paying attention to the weather on the planet, it is insane. And if you recall, I was telling you, I have told you, for the last many, many months since we started the webinars, that whatever Earth changes were to come, one thing, there would be several areas of the planet that would be virtually untouched. But one of the things that we would all have to deal with would be the weather. And that's what we're seeing now. We're seeing it being kicked into gear. We're seeing all these storms. Now, for the record, we cannot blame this on HAARP. Maybe occasionally there's an issue with HAARP, but it isn't making it snow in Mexico in July. It isn't making it snow in Spain in July. Okay, the weather's just crazy. There are tornadoes in Maine a week ago. There were tornadoes in Saskatchewan, Canada a week ago. Massive flooding everywhere. And essentially what's happening is the Earth's magnetic field is changing dramatically, and it is moving weather all over the planet. Now, what's not helping this is the fact that our solar system has moved into this massive plasma belt. Now, plasma is energy, okay? It's electricity, more or less. And it is positively charged. However, it can be negatively charged when it's moved into an area of dark energy, or shadow, they call it. And that is a large part of what's going on. This will probably only get worse before it gets better. And it may be that we have this incredibly extreme weather until sometime after the first of the year. It'll go quiet, and then it'll go bonkers. It'll go quiet, then it'll go bonkers. But the microbursts, the rain, it's going to be a challenge. It's absolutely going to be a challenge. We also have a great deal of solar winds. Now, the solar winds are not only coming from the sun and plasma from our sun, but we also have a great deal of solar winds that are carrying plasma from Sagittarius A in the center of our galaxy. And what's happening is that the central sun of our galaxy is roughly every 10 days sending out a wave of energy. Now, this is literally unprecedented. It's never acted like this before. But nonetheless, that's exactly what it's doing. And it is, as the central sun is pulsing, sending energy and frequency and information, all other stars are picking it up as well, ours none the least. When you combine that with the fact that we have outer planetary bodies entering our solar system and passing through, it makes for the perfect storm, literally. The best thing you can do, if you can, is to stock up on some food storage. You know, short term or even long term, it's never a bad idea to make sure that your pantry is always stocked. Because, you know, with weather like this, who knows what's literally going to happen, and no one does. But it is going to increase. It is definitely going to increase and get unusual. And, you know, the Earth is alive. She is expressing herself. She's going to do what she needs to do in order to heal portions of herself, to bring into balance the ecosystems on and below the surface that she is responsible for. And you know, we're just gonna have to go along for the ride here. But you know, there are things you can do to prepare yourself for it. Now, as matter becomes more charged because of all the plasma, the energy increases, the frequency increases, which we see across the board. Okay, we see that in consciousness. We see that with the ecosystems. We see that with the atmospheres of all the planets in our solar system. We see that with the sun. We see that with the central sun in Sagittarius A. We can see it, you know, pretty much everywhere there is shift. Okay, shift is happening, and it may be a while before we can all fully understand or grasp the concept of everything that's been going on or is going on. But what we can do, of course, is focus our attention and stay focused on what it is that we want. Okay? Now, with all of this positive energy hitting us, surrounding us, in and out. Now, remember, plasma can move through matter. Okay, it doesn't matter what the matter is. It moves through matter. So it is permeating everything. Keep things positive. Keep things simple. Try to keep things light. You don't want to get heavy, you know, duty. You don't want to get real negative. You don't want to get really depressed, because it only amplifies those frequencies. Okay, you want to keep things positive. You don't want to go negative field, because negative field becomes bigger negative field. Okay, positive field becomes more positive field. Positive field's better. Okay, in case you didn't get the memos, positive field is much better, and that's where we all need to be focusing on, is trying to stay positive. And even if you have nothing to be positive about, pretend that you're positive. And if you can't find anything to pretend about to be positive, pretend to be positive about nothing. Okay? You have to stay positive. And and only you know yourself. Find ways to be positive. Okay? Whether it's a walk, whether it's a movie, whether it's an incredibly beautiful piece of music, a girlfriend, your children, your grandchildren, whatever it is, you know, look for ways to stay positive so that your field stays positive, so that you draw more positive frequency and energy to you. Because we're going to be in this sea of plasma for quite some time. And it would be better if we can maintain this positive field. And I know it's hard. I absolutely know it's hard because of, well, God, you turn on the TV, it's negative field, negative field, negative field. And it doesn't matter that I mean, the powers that be, let me just say this, the powers that be, the cabal, the elite, the Orion group, the consortium, God, they have so many names, but we all know who we're talking about, okay? They don't care that it's fake news. They don't care that it's any news. They don't care if they make it up anymore. They don't care. All they care about is making you afraid. That's all they want to do, okay? Because the only power they have relies in negative field, in creating negative field and keeping everybody in negative field. Because if you're in negative field and you're in fear, you are not empowered. And if you're not empowered, then they're in control. That's the game. That's what they have been doing for all this time, is making sure that we do not become empowered. And we have to stop that. We absolutely have to stop that. Now, if you haven't noticed, this negative field is that they're literally pulling out all the stops. And it doesn't matter where you are in the world. This nonsense is going on. And it's because they're literally cornered in a box. The power structure that they sits on groups, organizations, agencies, governmental structures around the planet that are managed by middle management type of people, executives, government officials, bankers, etc. Well, they're all in open rebellion. They are all finally getting the memo of what's coming and what's been going on, and the fact that all the promises that they have been made by the elite, the cabal, the consortium, etc., has all been bullshit. Okay? They now realize that even though they're carrying out their will and they were promised protection and safety and underground bunkers, that none of that's going to happen for them. So they're rebelling. You're just not hearing about it because the media is completely controlled by these guys, these jackals. Now, bottom line is, this is a good thing. This is a really good thing. The issue here, though, is because no one's being told what to do, many people don't know what to do, okay? And because there's a lot of people on this planet who have been in the structural organization of world government who really don't know how to think for themselves. They are used to being told what to do, how to do it, and then they carry it out. Well, now they're not in that position, okay? Because the elite, they're running for the hills. Their focus is no longer on controlling everybody. It is now on, oh my God, we have got to protect ourselves. So the focus is now shifting away from control and domination of the planet to, we have to protect ourselves now. This is a good thing. This is a really good thing. Problem is, we don't have any real leadership in that area. Okay, most of these people are bureaucrats. They're not leaders. So, if you thought Obamacare was bad, just wait. Just wait. If you think Trump care was bad, just wait. Well, we didn't even get that far with that. Okay, there's going to be a period of fiasco, absolute fiasco. Okay, as the system begins to break down, because no one knows what to do, because no one's telling them what to do, because the elite are hightailing their ass into their bunkers and they're trying to get away from everybody so that they think they will survive. Okay, so it's a good thing, and there's some negative consequences to that. But again, we have to stay focused on on positive field and creating positive field. I promise you we will get through this. You know, I know that science is talking about a lot of things. We're in the 6th extinction. You know, the Earth's ecosystem and changes to it is cyclical. It happens. And it's happened at least 6 or 7. It's probably happened more times than we know, because we don't know the entire history of the Earth. We think we do, but we don't. Okay, they're constantly still being surprised. So, but humanity survives, okay? We survive. Now, let's see, there was a couple other things before I get to my notes. Okay, it'll come to me. I want to share something with you with the last webinar. As you know, some of you noticed, I was having a really hard time. And turns out, it turns out that I was in fact having a hard time. And I just want to say thank you to those who offered their emotional and spiritual support for helping me get through that that weekend a couple weeks ago, July 7th through the 11th. I want to thank you very much for that. It was a pretty interesting time, to say the least, and I'm definitely doing better. Okay, so thank you. Listen, the central sun of Sagittarius A is lit up like a flare, and it is pulsing a frequency. And we're not the only ones there. There are other galaxies, I'm told, that are experiencing very similar things. Whatever information it's sending out, it is also being picked up and being responded and broadcast by other stars. Now, I want to remind you that the energy, the frequency, the knowledge, the wisdom, the holographic properties that all suns broadcast comes from a higher dimension. In other words, third density is absolutely connected to fourth. In fact, if you really were to look at the structure starts at the very top, which would have been 11th, and it works its way down. The way the power structure or the information is funneled from the top all the way down through stars. That's apparently how it started. And of course, you know, how do you actually comprehend that? Well, if we can continue to work and activate our DNA, you know, maybe we'll get some of those answers. I know that there are many questions that the beings have on fifth that they can't answer regarding 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. They can't answer them either. So there is great wonderment. There is still an incredible adventure for everybody, you know, regardless of what happens here. Okay, the adventure continues. You know, even moving from third into fifth, there's going to be, you know, there's going to be a period of adjustment. There's going to be a period of comprehension. We're going to have to learn new language. We're going to have to learn to adjust to new frequencies, emotions, concepts, thoughts, tools, what we would call here in third density gifts, which up there are just the norm. There will be a great deal of adjustment to that. Now, What's interesting is that if you've watched our sun, it broadcasts the sun's frequency, the sounds that it makes is so high that humans can't hear it. But somehow humanity was told what that sound was. And it obviously came from more advanced civilizations or star people who visited Earth and maybe colonized for a while, whether it was Pangaea, Lemuria, Atlantis. And the information that has come down is that the sound that our sun makes is the sound of Om. Om. But that's the sound. That sound is changing now. It's becoming higher, but what's most interesting is that when we watch the sun and you see a coronal loop, it's not quite the flare because it doesn't snap, but it loops, okay, and then comes down. What's very interesting is that when the sun does that now, there is a ping, like of a guitar string, all right, or an air instrument of some sort. It's like ding, ding. Okay, it's making different sounds now. Now, what's fascinating about all these sounds is that they are locked into the 432 solfeggio scale. Okay, and I'm hoping you all get that. So the sun is making tones and sounds in the 432 megahertz range of the solfeggio octaves, okay, tones. Now, that is permeating everything in our solar system. This is incredible, incredible stuff. So, for those of you who are overwhelmed because you're looking at everything that's happening and you're going negative field, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? I'm alone. I can't do this. I can't do that. I don't have anybody I can talk to, yada, yada, yada. I mean, we all have issues, okay? None of this is an accident. This is incredible stuff. Okay, now this frequency, this 432 hertz solfeggio frequency that the sun's putting out now, what's fascinating about this on top of that is the fact that the human ear is toned for 432 hertz, which was what the ancient music instruments were all tuned to. When they find ancient instruments in archaeological digs or in tombs in the pyramids, they're all tuned to 432 megahertz, okay, or 432 hertz, okay, of the solfeggio scale. Now think about that. The ancients knew all this, all right? They knew all of this. And now the sun is sending out this frequency. Now there's speculation that the Schumann resonance is rising to reach a specific level of that 432 hertz, maybe 251. Somewhere in that scale, it's rising. We know it's already hit 200. And I know that there are some speakers out there that say that the Schumann resonance is bullshit. The bullshit is that they don't know what they're talking about. Okay? They don't know what they're talking about. They flat don't know what they're talking about, because this is happening and it's being registered. Now, like I said, there's a lot to cover. There is no stopping whatever is happening. And it isn't something that we have to be fearful about just because we don't know it, just because we don't understand it. What we do know is that 432 hertz is heart chakra. That particular frequency repairs DNA. There are people on the planet who use tuning forks of the solfeggio frequencies to do healing. And these tuning forks are helping to literally alter and correct chakra deformities, but also DNA abnormalities, where with certain protocols of frequency, they can heal the physical body and repair DNA just using frequency. And it's this sacred scale. Now, the ancients knew all this. They obviously were given this knowledge, and it was lost. Now, where those sounds literally became lost, or I should say, were buried intentionally, started really in the 1930s. That's when it really started to kick in. But by 1939, the scales had been changed to 440. It went from 432 to 440. Now, the frequency of 440 in music isn't good for the body. Now, what's interesting is that the push for that particular frequency came out of Nazi Germany. Yes, let me say that again. It came out of Nazi Germany. And the Germans were able to convince the British were able to convince the Americans, and on and on and down it went until the 440 hertz became the norm, even though it has a negative effect on the physical body. So this isn't an accident. Now, the fact that it's all coming back and the universe is correcting it itself, okay, and our sun is literally correcting it herself. If you ever had doubts about a higher supreme power, they should be gone by now. Okay, there is absolutely a wisdom, a knowledge that is just so awesome, so incredibly holistic. God, what words do you use? That clearly someone has our back, okay? Let me say that again. Someone has our back. So this is a good thing. And could it be possible that we fell out of time from a higher dimension, 9th through 11th, into third density, so that we could change the frequency of third density through our DNA, through our souls being encased in sound, okay, waves of sound which are turned into physical form, into matter. It's all color, light, and sound, right? So our spirits come in, we encase ourselves with sound, which turns into matter, or becomes matter, and that an opposite force decided that the only way they could survive was to change the frequency, which is what they did, at least for a while. But now the galaxy the universe, the stars in our galaxy, are now correcting that. Okay? And science is showing this. Now, to make this even more interesting, there's one incredible secret that the scientific and medical community have been hiding from humanity. And it is just one of these secrets, is this. Scientists and doctors, they're getting the spiritual frequencies. They're beginning to understand that the human body and all that it contains and all that it encompasses is not what they were taught in medical school. And what they're beginning to share is the fact that people that have near-death experiences, people who cross over, are literally dead and then come back. And we just had a recent person that was dead for 45 minutes and then suddenly came right back, as if nothing had happened. And he's fine. Okay? The brain didn't die. He's fine. What they have known and what they're finding out now is that people that have these experiences, when they come back, instead of 2 active strands of DNA, they now have 3, some have 4, some have 5, and there's a recent group in Australia where 6 people have 6 strands of active DNA. And this is after a near-death experience. They've also found out that 80% of our junk DNA isn't junk at all. It's actually working. They just didn't know how to see it. Okay? So I want you to think about this. We have children being born today, coming in with fully active 3rd strands, some 4. We have people with near-death experiences, and there are many of them on the planet who have the experience, and when they come back into their bodies and they wake up, they now have additional active strands of DNA. You put all of this together, and the spiritual evolution and ascension of humanity on this planet is a done deal. It is a done deal. Okay? It's a done deal. There are a lot of components at work here, and all of them are moving and assisting humanity in rising out of the matrix and dumping all this crap back on those who deserve it, who created this nonsense. All of this is going to land right back on them. And these beings, they're scrambling now. They're looking for their underground bunkers. They're looking in their caves deep underneath the earth, under Antarctica. They're finding any place they can to hide, because this mess that they created is now starting to roll, and it's going to land right back on top of them. And this is moving really, really quickly, folks. You need to be inspired, okay? You do. You need to be inspired, because this is all about empowerment. You know, if you're down in the dumps and you're having a bad day at work and you work with assholes, yada, 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 and the kids aren't doing what you want, they won't listen, okay? They won't do what they're told, you know, whatever, okay? You can either let those things empower you, or you can allow yourself to be the victim and disempower yourself. But think clearly, think hard about that, okay? Think hard about that, because the bottom line is you can really only control yourself. You really can, especially if your children are adults. You can teach them, you can share, you can dispense wisdom and knowledge, but you can't give them experience. You can give them the benefit of your experience, but they better be holding one ear like this so that when it goes in, it bounces around first before it just shoots right through. Okay? Because most of the time it seems like it just shoots right through. Amazing stuff. Amazing, amazing, amazing stuff is happening. And feel it, okay? Feel it. Ground yourself. I mean, the information, the negative field is around us everywhere, which is why I said years ago, turn off the television, okay? Because it's everywhere. It's all negative field, and they don't care what they say, what they do. They don't care about their reputations. All they care about is creating negative field, because that keeps them in power. And then you have the universe rising the frequencies through all elements imaginable. Spiritual material saying, that's not what this is about. So know that the universe has your back. Know that spirit has your back. Know that God has your back. Know that you're loved. You are absolutely loved, because none of this is random. This is all clearly intentional. And that's just what's happening here. Okay, we're not sure about what's happening to other civilizations in our own galaxy. We're not even sure what's happening to other galaxies. We don't know that, okay? But we know what's happening here. We know that there's a shift. And I would suggest that we all embrace the shift, embrace the flow of the frequency, get in the stream, get on your rubber raft, and ride the river, okay? Ride the river, because clearly it is far more intelligent than we are. And the fact that it's doing all the right things, and it's giving us all an opportunity to shift, to get on board, to make decisions about what it is that we want, is a really good thing. It's clearly creator. It's clearly creator. Let's do some questions.
Sure. All right, our first question from Elaine. Human consciousness is multidimensional. Why did we choose to experience 3D reality?
I don't know.
I don't know. I often ask that myself.
I'd still be here. You think if I had that answer, I'd still be here? I mean, I'm constantly formulating an idea of why I agreed to leave 11th and come down here, or 9th, or wherever I was. How in the world did I end up down here? There must have been a plan that was laid out that would have convinced me, okay, or I just, I thought, hey, this was going to be a walk in the park, and I was wrong. I was wrong. It is not a walk in the park. It is a walk through quicksand, through jello. The higher frequencies and the higher dimensions all over again. And you know what? They'll be new. They'll be fresh. I will have a whole new sense of gratitude for the freedom that all of that brings and the expansion that all of that brings. I will, in fact, be incredibly grateful for that experience again. And I'm looking forward to it. And if I could call Frontier or Delta and get my plane ticket bought, I would do that. So, okay. Next.
Okay, next question. This is from Sarah. The Dracos survive on fear, suffering, pain, and trauma. And if we look at Pizzagate, the organization of NAMBLA states that 86% of Congress belongs to it. What are your thoughts on this? You know, NAMBLA, American Man Boy Love Association. It's a pedophile organization. Yeah.
Okay. What are my thoughts on that? Well, you know, we have the finest government money can buy. That we all know. And I think every country has that, the finest government money can buy. And it's obvious that they really don't give a shit about the people. They don't care. They're whatever their true situation is, they are far more afraid of something else than of the people. That's obvious by their actions. I think if consenting adults wish to be with the same sex, that is absolutely their business. And there shouldn't be any judgment. That is their business. Okay? Let God sort it out. Mankind doesn't have to. But to harm innocent children below the age of consent is despicable. It is just despicable. And there just is no excusing that. You know, maybe if we could gather up all the people that do this and we could give them each 3 minutes of oxygen and put them on a very large asteroid somewhere with all of their own kind, maybe then they can sort it out themselves. But they would all be off planet. They would all be gone. Okay, and we didn't kill them. We didn't murder them. We just put them somewhere else away, maybe on this asteroid, with 3 minutes of oxygen each, and let them figure it out themselves with each other. That would be my idea. So that's messed up. And again, even going there, that's dark field. That is really, really dark field. So let's have a chipper question if we can. A little more chipper.
Okay, nice, jolly question. How do we let the Andromedans know if we want to be mentored? Thank you, Lisa.
Lisa, that's an excellent question. I think they and other groups, because there's more than one group here, they and other groups will at some point make themselves known officially. And I don't believe it's going to be through a government at all. And in fact, at this point, we'd all be better off without governments. Okay? We really would be. Because, you know, they're jacking everything up. I mean, they just cannot find their ass with 2 hands and 2 flashlights. It's scary. So we'd be better off without governments. I don't know exactly how it's going to play out because it's constantly changing. You know, the A's are from the future. The Pleiadians are from the future. The Plagiarians are from the future. Some of the other groups, I believe the Arcturians, have come back in time. And in their time, before they came back, there was a very specific future for humanity sort of laid out. That's all changed now. All right? None of those futures are even in existence anymore for several reasons. One, those particular races looked at our future and it altered it. We are now looking at our future and deciding our future, and we're altering it all the time. And that's changing every time another percentage point of consciousness rises. We keep changing our own future. So it's being written, but it isn't writ yet. Okay? So I don't know how to answer that question because we don't know exactly how it's going to play itself out. But if I had to guess that there's going to be this incredible aha moment for all of humanity. All of humanity. And in that moment, we're all going to realize that we're brothers and we're sisters, that this entire reality, this matrix, for lack of a better word, that we were stuck in, or that we were manipulated into creating, was a self-designed, self-made prison. And we're going to have that aha moment. And when we have that aha moment, I don't see us ever being led down the path into ever creating something like that again, or finding ourselves in future generations trapped. That we're going to make sure that future generations, that we leave enough knowledge behind and enough teachers and mentors that they will know, they will have the wisdom to know the difference between empowerment and disempowerment. And a race that's empowered, they're all leaders. A race that's empowered doesn't need government to tell it what to do. A race that's empowered joyously sings in one chorus the joys, the love, and the devotion of creation, of spirit. Those that are disempowered need to be told what to do. Those who are disempowered are made to feel that the creation doesn't love them and that they're not worthy. I don't see us making those mistakes again. And I'm positive that once we get that, we're going to make sure that future generations know what we went through. They will know not to make the same mistakes and to be hoodwinked to going down this road where we give our power away. That's what I think. And I've never been more sure of that before. Okay. Next.
Okay. This is from Sonia. Oh, by the way, you got your Amazon vouchers. Happy birthday.
Yes, thank you. I did send you a thank you.
Excellent. From Sonia, can you tell us more about the worlds that managed to overthrow the reptilians and Anunnaki, please?
Repeat that one more time. You garbled a little bit towards the end there.
Sorry. Can you tell us more about the worlds that managed to overthrow the reptilians or Anunnaki, please?
Can I tell you more about the middle management levels that are rebelling against the Anunnaki and the reptilians? Is that the question?
The worlds, the planets that have overthrown the reptilians. The planets that have overthrown the reptilians.
JP, I'm not getting it. I'm simply not getting it. It sounds like a really good question.
Yeah.
But I'm
That's probably why.
The whole middle.
Okay.
The whole middle.
The worlds that managed to.
Definitely at 432 hertz. You're someplace else. Huh?
All right. I'll try at lower volume. Can you tell us about the worlds that managed to overthrow the reptilians? The planets that overthrew the reptilians. Did you get that?
I got that question. That was good. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't have specific information about that. The only specific information I have about, in particular, one race was the Procyons that were able to overcome the complete control of the Greys, which in our linear time was for 600 years that they had control and domination over the Procyons. And essentially what they had to do, because they couldn't get signal out. Okay, they had the fence. They couldn't get a signal out, or they didn't know because their civilization was shut down so quickly that essentially what they had to do was create an entirely underground culture using the females of their race predominantly underground to become not only psychics, but clairvoyants, but sages, seers. They had to create this entire underground subculture that was so spiritually powerful that when the time was right and they had the right amount of numbers, that they would allow themselves to be known and they would broadcast a call for help that would pierce the veil or the fence that was surrounding the planet, which is in fact what they did. And it was the feminine of their race that did this because of their emotional passion. Emotion is an incredible tool. It can never be underestimated. Okay? I understand that many of the men came up with the idea, but it was only the women who could pull this off because of their extremes of emotions, which are much broader than a man. Okay? They somehow were able to call for help, and help came almost immediately. I don't know every single detail about that. And there is more, in fact, information about that in my notes, which I don't have. But that's all I can remember at the moment. They were able to get help. They were able to break free of the matrix. And, this is what, the Greys did this. I mean, they would go to a planet and they would harvest it and they would take what they wanted. And when they were done taking it or there was nothing left that they wanted, they would move on, but, we all know the Greys hang out with the reptilians. Now, were there actually Draconians and an Orion group there with the Greys on this planet? I do not know. I don't have that information. But it was predominantly the Greys. That much I do know. The regressive Greys. Okay? That's what I know.
So is something like that happening on Earth as well, Alex? Is that happening on Earth?
If that's what has unfolded, I don't know if it was exactly the same way. We do know that we got help from outside. But if that's what's unfolding here or has unfolded here, I'm so close to it that I don't see it or didn't see it. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes they say, when you're in the thick of it, you can't see the forest from the trees. Yeah. It's possible that's exactly what happened here. I don't know. But I'm not aware of an entire underground culture of spiritual beings unless it's the walk-ins, it's the NDEs that have returned with this special with this advanced DNA or ramped up DNA, or if it's in fact boots on the ground that were here helping together this entire group. I suppose maybe it's possible. I would think maybe that it is possible, but I do not know for a fact if it's unfolded here the same way it did there. I haven't been read into it.
So, all right.
Not the answer you wanted, but
well, Fence Walker is asking: Are the nasties going underground now?
Yes. Yes, they are.
Will they be picked up from this underground position?
That's a good question. Will they be picked up? Will they be beamed up? Or will they be entombed in their underground caves and palaces? That remains to be seen, doesn't it?
It does. Here's a new one. This is from Lauren. You've mentioned in the past that Moronnay has a good sense of humor and that he can snap you out of your depressions very quickly. Can you give examples of his style of humor?
No, I don't want to. I don't want to. They're too personal. They're way too personal.
All right.
Do I want to embarrass myself more than I already am? No, I don't think so.
Oh, bless your heart.
Nice try, though, Lauren.
We know.
Nice try.
Jason is saying, if the Anunnaki know that reality is created and that we can create anything we want, why don't they create from a place of love?
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what's going on with the Anunnaki. I don't know why some of them are assholes and some of them may not be. I can't answer that question. Simply because I don't know where, as a civilization, the majority of them are at this point. My focus has been us. My focus has been us and trying to get us, me, my loved ones out of this matrix. And, in asking questions and trying to move in that direction, I've learned all these other little bits and pieces. But I don't know. I know for a fact that I don't have the entire spectrum of the big picture. I have pieces of it, but I don't have all of the big picture. And at the moment right now, I don't know what the Anunnaki are thinking. I don't know what they're doing on their ships. I don't know what they're doing with each other. I don't know anything about their day-to-day life as of right now. I just simply don't know. If I did, I'd tell you, but I don't know. And, like I said, my focus has been on us. I'm trying to get us out of the swamp. I've been trying to get myself out of the swamp. That is really where 90% of my focus has really always been. How do we get out of this? How do we become free? And I know that there's a great responsibility to freedom. I can't wait for that again. I can't wait for that again. I am so excited, to be free of someone else's judgments and someone else's dogma and someone else's idea of what creation or reality is supposed to be. And that creation and that reality is where everybody else is a damn serf to them. It doesn't work for me. It just doesn't work for me at all. And it shouldn't work for anybody. Okay? So, that's where my focus has been. I don't know what the Anunnaki are. We may find out soon. And we will all be finding that out together.
Okay, a question from Petra.
JP, we've got time for one more question.
Okay.
One more question.
What can you tell us about the building of the builders of the Bosnian pyramids?
I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about it. Those are questions I've not gotten to yet.
Okay.
Like I said, whenever I talk to M, I always have questions, but oftentimes, his presence is so big. It's just like, wow. And I don't know how else to explain it. His presence is so big that if he has things to say, he has things to say. Okay? And that's where the conversation goes. All right? And every once in a while, he'll pause and he'll say, what's on your mind? Of course, he already knows, but he gives me the freedom to say something, which is what I do. Instead of me just sitting there and he just, rattles off all the things I want to know. We have dialogue. Okay, but they're not always like that. You know, and I'm stealing moments. That's what it is. I'm stealing moments with him. And I would want more time all the time, but I don't have that. You know, he's doing his thing. He has a crew that he's responsible for. He's doing other things with other races here and other dimensions, back in their own dimension. And I'm here trying to live a life. I mean, it's a dance. It's literally a dance. Okay. It's not like going to Starbucks and we schedule 3 hours. We each sit down and he drinks Romulan ale and I have a cup of black coffee, or did have black coffee. And, you know, we chit chat. It's not like that at all anymore. You know, things are moving very quickly. The advancement of Earth's spirituality is moving very, very quickly. And there are things happening, and there are synchronistic events that are lining up to help us break free of this matrix. And everybody's paying a lot of attention to that so that they can do the right things at the right time to not only assist humanity, but also to empower humanity. That's the only way this is going to work. Okay? It's the only way this is going to work. And it be a permanent shift. Okay? They have to empower humanity so that this is a permanent shift.
Thank you for joining us on this extraordinary journey of self-discovery and cosmic enlightenment with Alex Collier. Your support means the world to us. If you found this video insightful, please show your appreciation by giving it a thumbs up, subscribing to our channel, and clicking the bell icon to receive notifications for future uploads. Doing so lets you stay connected with the latest cosmic revelations and helps us spread Alex Collier's profound teachings to a broader audience. Remember, every like, subscription, and bell click can awaken more minds and ignite a collective shift in consciousness. We encourage you to share your thoughts, reflections, and questions in the comments below, as your engagement fuels the expansion of knowledge and fosters a vibrant community of truth seekers. Together, we can uncover the hidden truths of the universe and embark on a journey of cosmic transformation. Until we meet again, keep seeking, growing, and shining your light in the vast cosmic tapestry. If you would like to see Andromedan contactee Alex Collier live via video stream, we host an online seminar every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. For more information and dates of upcoming online seminars, please visit alexcollier.org. Please watch one of the above videos to find out more about Alex's knowledge.